Hey guys, welcome back, and it is week 3 of Super Rugby Aotearoa. This week again, it is the Blues versus the Highlanders. Big game as always, but this week, if you do look at the two teams' games so far, the Blues, they beat the Hurricanes by 15 points and then they had a bye, meaning they had 2 weeks to prepare for this game. The Highlanders, mixed bag of emotions, losing to the Crusaders by 13 points, beating the Chiefs by 16 points, but all in all, both teams have been pretty good, especially the Highlanders. They've surprised me on how good they have played so far this season. Before I get into the teams, remember to hit the subscribe button if you do like the channel. Let's have a look at the starting sides. Guys, there's a lot of changes for both sides, quite surprisingly actually. I didn't think the Highlanders will change so much to the team that did so well last week, so it's quite a big surprise to me. The whole front row for the Blues has changed. It's one of the two props that have started now are two of the favorite props that I have in New Zealand, Tuangafasi and Tuinakwafe. Tuinakwafe is such a strong scrummager. Tuangafasi not too bad himself, but the thing that the Highlanders have to look out for in this game is his ability to get into the tackles. He just is a prop that tackles so much. He reminds me a lot of a guy in South Africa, Steven Kitsoff. He plays a similar role, also a lot at breakdown time as well, and is a hard hitter when it comes to tackling time. Another prop comes in for the Highlanders. De Groot comes in, or De Groot, I don't know how you say it in New Zealand. He comes in for Daniel Leonard-Brown, who is injured. He had a bit of an arm injury in the middle of that game last week. Coltman also starts at the hooker, surprisingly. I actually thought Dixon has been doing quite well so far this season. And in Tokolai, he starts at the prop still. Tulai comes in for the Blues at the hooker position. They are still figuring out who's going to replace Parsons after he retired as their starting hooker. Is it going to be Tulai or is it going to be Eklund? Eklund finding himself on the bench. Then we go to the two second rows. Tuipulotu being the captain for the Blues. Dixon also getting his start for the Highlanders again. This is basically the settled number 4s for the two sides. The number 5s both are changed for this game. Darry making his debut for the Blues in this game. So it's going to be a big showing from him to see if he can do it on this level. And in Selby Rickett in at the number 5 jersey. I do like how he plays. It's like a very utility player. Selby Rickett, like a flanker / center on the park sometimes in the ability he does play. Then we get to the number 6s. One of the battles of the week will probably be Akira Ioane versus Frizzell. Two guys that play a very similar style of play. Loves taking the ball at a ruck and carrying it forward. Loves taking on other players and racking up some meters and seeing what they can do on the park on their own. Then Dalton Papali'i at number 7 and Lynches. They are going to see who gets the most balls at breakdown time. And then Renton comes in and Sotutu on number 8. It is actually sad to me. I always like seeing Sotutu versus Makieletu'u up against each other in this battle, because those two are just the two youngsters that are really surprising or really gunning for All Black selection all the time. Then we get to the number 9s. Both are changed in this game. What a selection you can have, bringing in a guy like Aaron Smith back into your side. The Highlanders, you saw what intensity he brought to the side when he came off the bench last week. His game is going to be more managed now after signing that contract with New Zealand up until the next World Cup. Jonathan Ruru getting a start again with the Blues. He's one of my favorite scrum halves for them. Knock isn't too bad either, but he's a bigger scrum half, so he likes taking on the line as well. Then one of the first fly halves for the Blues, because they actually have 3 on the park, Otere Black at number 10. He's been playing quite well at number 10 for the last 2 seasons, really solidifying his position there. Up against Josh Ioane, who played just as well last week. With him at the Highlanders, really, their backline looked like they had a better attacking position all the time on the park. They had a better ability to beat defenders on the outside as well, and he just got a bit better at kicking at the spaces at the back. Then we get to Harry Plummer, who's the second number 10 on the park. He's going to be playing there more and more this season. Then Tompkinson at number 12, who got a yellow card yet again last week. I always say he's one of my favorite number 12s if he can just get his discipline better, because he just plays so hard, but unfortunately that means yellow cards every now and then. Michael Collins, he comes back into the starting team for the Highlanders. Also a very good number 13, actually a number 15, playing at the centres since last season. Highlanders fans, you can maybe remind me, has he signed overseas yet? Because there was rumours of him moving to Scotland, if I remember correctly. Rico Ioane, a very fast winger, playing at 13 this week again, and you know what you have with him. He cuts the line all the time, very fast, he scores tries. We could see that last time he was out. He learned how to dot the ball down properly. Not in that, like in that other game. And then outside of him, we have guys that are just as dangerous in the form of Caleb Clark, just knocking guys down every time he gets a chance. Mark Talia defeating defenders every time he gets a chance. They are up against Nareki. What a game he had last week. And I'm going to be the first guy to say, okay, I see what I have been missing, because every week I judge him on his defensive capabilities, because he does have a tendency not to be in position or have a couple of missed tackles because of his work rate on attack. He's just everywhere on the park. You find him on spaces you wouldn't normally see a winger, so I do think he should be maybe considered as a fullback, a Willie Leroux type of guy, just popping up everywhere. He scored so many tries for the Highlanders last week and racked up so many meters. The other winger for them is Punivai. Connor Garden Bishop is on the fullback up against Perafeta. Then we get to the benches, guys, with Eklund up against Dixon. Two very good hookers there, James Lay and Laulala. The front row for the Blues does not lose anything when those two comes on. The Highlanders also bring a bit of experience on with Evans when they do have him on for the second row later in the game. Makaele Tu'u, like I said, it's sad that he doesn't start, but it's the type of guy that does bring a lot of impact to the game. Just like Tom Robinson on the bench for the Blues. Nock and Fakatava, two very good scrum halves, and they are very energetic when they come on. They bring some energy to the teams. So these two benches do look very strong so far. Mitch Hunt as well, Narawa. You can see where I'm going with this. These two benches are strong. They can close out the game with more energy than they started. Guys, if I have to make my prediction, the Highlanders have been in superb form. You would probably have thought they will win this game if they just stuck to their starting team they've had. Obviously, they do have a game plan here. It's not as easy as just looking at the starting teams, but to me, the Blues at home probably favourites, especially with that front row. They can get a couple of penalties there as well. I think it's going to be a close one. Blues to win this one by 5 points. Let me know your prediction down in the comments below. Also, check out these videos next to me. Most importantly, enjoy the rugby this weekend. Cheers.